Althar and Edith.
Okay, that was alright. The second one was pretty good. Okay, welcome everyone. Last time, once more, leaving the Shatter, with the undead problem now seemingly dealt with, you immediately made for the Assembly Hall to collect the latter half of your reward, only to be told that the Assembly Hall was now closed off to the public, and that your reward would be delivered to you once the task had been verified as complete, giving Sigurd's workshop address as a drop-off point. Deciding that more revelry was in order now, after the events of the last few days, you found yourselves in the Iron Ring Tavern, an establishment famed in the city for its brutal fight pit. Iago and Blink signed up for the evening's tournament, both ascending to the second round, only then to be pitted against each other, with Iago emerging triumphant and Blink emerging with a large bump on his head. Only for Iago to then be bested in the tournament final by a confident tiefling girl by the name of Vesra, who went by the pit fighting stage name of the Serpent. And with coin lost and earned, betting on the fights, and much ale consumed, most notably by Blink, you headed to the Polished Goblet Inn for the quiet latter half of the evening, whereupon you were met there by Senator Amata Vorrigan, who asked what you had discovered during your time in the Shatter. You spoke at length. Belzafir's business associate Johan also joined the conversation to weigh in with his knowledge on the Fey realm of Anduin. And the conversation also turned to Amata's past, most notably her death during the uprising and her later resurrection performed by the now missing arch-cleric Enum Smith. But Amata then revealed to you that she had undertaken some snooping in Boreas' office and had discovered a hastily scrawled note within his datebook bearing a cryptic message, possibly alluding to a place and time of an upcoming meeting. With that information, Amata paid for your rooms before departing, and you bedded down for the night. And that is where we now find ourselves. It is the morning now of the 5th day of Ascura Una, the year 7044.
Would Blink have been sober enough, even when he's drunk, sober enough to remember what rooms these guys were in?
That is a very good question. Make a history check with disadvantage.
Yes. With disadvantage.
Yeah. So, as the pale sun rises over the city of Haven's Reach, now veiled this morning by thick, rolling clouds, the city begins to stir to life. There's a faint chill hanging in the air, while the scent of damp stone and morning mist fills the streets. The soft murmur of the city's early bustle begins to drift gently through your shutters, and within the cozy and comfortable confines of the Polished Goblet, your party begins to wake. What'd you get? 8. No. So Blink, you wake up after an evening of heavy drinking, with a splitting headache. You roll over in bed and kind of like reach to one side for something, and there's a large like carafe of water that's been placed.
Cold kebab.
The polystyrene box on your bedside table, and you grab this jug of water and instinctively just start gulping it down. You feel awful. You are hungover. For this period until your next long rest, you have got vulnerability to thunder damage. And you would receive disadvantage on any saving throws against being blinded. Until your next long rest. But you can't remember what happened. You can't remember getting to the Polished Goblet. You remember being in the Iron Ring. You remember taking a really nasty bump on the head, and as you raise your hand up and touch it, it's this really tender, raised like bump there.
Oh no.
With a little bit of dried blood in your hair.
Help! It's me! You too!
You had separate rooms before all of you. You shout out and you kind of like look over your shoulders and there's no one else in the room.
I don't like it.
This was me on Monday. I was like having fever dreams. I was
no. Please.
I just sit there woefully with my water.
Okay. Eventually you do, after a few minutes, you hear a on the door.
Hello?
Blink?
Hello.
Ismir's voice comes through. How are you feeling?
Not good. Can you help? Please.
And the door, like, kind of cracks open. He opens the door, he's like, are you decent? Can I come in?
Yeah, I wouldn't forget to put my pajamas on.
He comes into the room and kind of, like, looks around. It's like, well, you haven't died then, so
No.
you need to have some breakfast. Come down.
Okay.
Just, like, kind of turns around and leaves the room.
Fine. Bye.
Okay. He turns and leaves. Yeah, you're now alone in the room. Everyone else,
You alright?
Yeah.
How's the head?
I'm gonna get changed.
Alright.
I'll see you in a bit.
Looking through the walls at each other.
You see it from the other side. Shut up!
No, you shut up!
Who's that?
Some guy at the tavern.
Sorry!
But yeah, it's early hours of the morning now, and you all begin to rise from your slumber. Is anyone heading downstairs first? or-
Crack of dawn downstairs having breakfast and a nice steaming cup of something.
Yeah, very nice. So there's like a nice hot coffee on the side, and this morning it's this kind of like almost like lumps of kind of like honey bread that's served in like a kind of like a bowl of like, it's almost like condensed milk, but it's really tasty. And it's
I've been having granola this last week.
granola
and Greek
I'm in
yogurt.
granola and yogurt phase right now.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
just
in my
laughing at-
granola and yogurt phase is great. Yum yum.
Yeah, I'll head down as well.
So Iago, you head out after your little conversation with Blink through the wall, and you can see Balzafir sat at the one of the tables in the kind of center of the room, just like eating from this little wooden bowl.
Oh, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. What's for brekkie?
It seems to be some kind of bread and sweet cream. It sounds strange, yeah, but it is quite nice.
I got this from a medieval breakfast video that I watched with Shan.
Nice.
Surely the bread will get soggy. I don't really.
I think that is the purpose. You
Oh,
use
right.
the bread to scoop up the cream.
It's a bit like Weetabix. You ever had Weetabix?
have not.
Ismir starts coming over from the bar where he's just got his as well. He's like, yes, we used to have this at the temple, and the bread soaks up the cream. It's quite nice. Just kind of like looks down there.
That is as close as you get to a positive affirmation.
I was about to say, that was quite nice. You complimented someone.
Well, yes.
First thing you've said that's nice is about soggy bread and milk.
Shit, I'm not playing his character.
I'll try it. Is it nice?
Yes, it is. It's very sweet. It's got this like, the bread it's like a sweet roll, like a honey sweet roll, like that's been rolled up. Almost like a cinnamon bun, but honey instead of cinnamon.
Oh, okay. That's,
Yeah.
Just like cutting the milk.
that's quite pleasant.
I suppose I will meander down at some point.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you would have noticed.
Cigarette
It's got
deal.
this eyepiece on now as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
Doesn't comment.
Cool.
Yes, you head down and you can see this scene. Ismir, Balzafir and Iago sat around a table. Blink hasn't emerged yet.
I sit and get my own bowl of bread and milk.
Yeah, you do so. You collect it from the bar where it's kind of like being kind of put out into bowls.
The one session he misses is bread and milk.
Yeah, I know, right?
Lovely. Yes, I am.
We have to TPK.
I'm going to
Start again.
I head over and just pull up here and just like, no sign of the little one then.
I checked on him first thing. He's alive at least.
He drank quite a lot and he's quite small, so.
Yeah, well, I'm very impressed. Yeah.
The halflings do have impressive constitution.
I'll head down.
Okay.
But I'm going down the stairs, like, only right foot at the time. Just
You hear this coming down the stairs. This big just kind of like comes around the corner looking bleary-eyed. He's got these bags under his
just walk
eyes.
straight past them.
Here he is.
Mint. Bread and some sort of sweet cream. That's what I wanted. I'll come sit with you lot.
Right, well,
Whatever he says.
We'll get you freshened up and then we'll crack on with the day. What's going on today? What are we doing today?
Ismail like scrapes the last of the cream from the bowl and kind of puts it on a spoon and like licks the last of it off and stands up. Says, I received a communication from my temple first thing this morning. I've gone German.
I was wondering why you were sounding more legible.
I am going to need to visit the temple here in the city to receive instructions. I must do this alone. If I am not back by this evening, then please carry on without me. I am not one for sneaking around as it is. So I fear I would only be a hindrance.
He is not lying. He is not very good at sneaking from what I hear.
Apparently there is a matter that requires my urgent attention, so I will see you maybe later tonight.
Alright, well, catch you in a bit. Hope it's not too urgent, that it's like bad urgent, you know? Like
You can see that he's in like proper priest vestments now at this point, rather than the kind of slightly more dressed down version of him that you have seen. He's got the I don't know what they call it, the thing that like hangs around and goes down on either side.
I know what you mean.
Whatever they're called, the scarf thing that the vestment wear. Yeah,
the vicar scarf.
part of the vestments.
Vicar scarf.
Still with the kind of traveling clothes and everything. It's not like as you would see in a temple, but he has fancied up a little bit more. So
Meeting with the brass, perhaps.
farewell for now.
All the best.
Until next time.
Heads out and makes his way out of the polished goblet.
That will make for lighter conversation today, at least.
I feel more cheerful.
I do feel quite uplifted, but I think it might be the breads and the milks.
Yeah, it could be. To be fair, I don't dislike his news. He's great.
Well, no one said they disliked it.
I hope everything's alright at the temple. That would be bad if it wasn't.
What's the plan for
I mean, I've got things I need to sort out, so I would quite like to go and do that.
We've got a trip to make to the Stargazers Guild, right?
Oh yeah, we've got to
See
do
if
that.
they've got some kind of lodge or.
As I understand it, we have to see if we can find this tower that was mentioned in a riddle.
Yes, in quiet chill of next first night, farthest from when moon's sun is bright, silver eye upon the hall, where Lathrin's spire looks upon all.
It's good.
That's a memory.
Did you write that yourself?
I've got it written down.
Sober enough to remember this.
Oh, to remember this conversation from last night? You don't remember getting to the polished goblet. Let alone the conversation with Amata.
Yeah. I have no idea
No,
what you guys are talking
you're drawing a
about.
blank on that one. That's fine.
Do you remember? You were quite the menace.
I'm always the menace.
Yeah, you're quite rowdy when you've had a few. Alright, I'm not sure. I wasn't trying. It wasn't an encouragement, mate.
Make a little history check for me, buddy.
20.
20. Oh, with disadvantage, sorry, because you were drunk at the time.
8.
You kind of like draw your mind back to the night before. You vaguely remember being sat around a table upstairs with Senator Vorrigan, opposite, and Johan as well. You vaguely remember this situation happening, but not what was talked about.
I assume we met with them last night. They want us to do something. Plan.
In his head, he's just going to hear. Yeah, plan of action is we're going to go down to. We're going to try and find a guild, Stargazers Guild. We're going to try and find a tower, and then we're going to see if perchance that if we go there on the Monday, if there's going to be a naughty little meeting there. Isn't that exciting?
Please tell me what you're going to do with that next time.
I won't.
Let's rock.
You do notice that Johan has not emerged this morning. Who was there last night and did stay or in the inn even.
Where's your mate then? Is he alright?
Oh, I forgot to mention he had to leave the city.
Oh.
We are accelerating plans to with everything going on. He's going to take care of my little trip to Kildrum. So he left early in the morning.
Fair enough of him.
Oh, that's cool.
So now I should be free for the next few days to at least bring this thread to a head.
Okay, cool. So he's alright.
I'm somewhat glad that Ismir is not here for that, because I have no doubt he would have an opinion.
That's fair enough. I'm sure he's a bit more prim and proper, isn't he?
It appears he has his own plans, regardless. So
He has got opinions. That is the thing he's got.
he's a man.
So look at the back of your head. Oh, I did a number on you, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Oh,
As he's touching it, you can feel how tender it is. Where your head hits the side of the.
Looney Tunes lump.
Yeah.
Just
Somehow formed with the plaster, cross plaster.
stop. Oh, wait. I do remember getting revenge, though.
well, no, you did. Well, you tried to.
I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean it.
It's alright. I can't really feel it, to be honest.
Okay, don't rub it in.
No, it's anyway. Just to kind of wave it into the barkeep.
Yeah.
I've noticed that there doesn't seem to have been any tea on our table, and I'd quite like a cup of tea.
Oh, sorry. There was coffee.
No. Sorry, I'm not really a coffee drinker. Got to be careful with the caffeine.
Sorry.
I apologize. I did not think to was.
No, that's alright. I'm just more of a tea guy. That's all.
She heads to the back, gets like this big kind of like copper teapot, puts a couple of like scoops of leaves in it, and hands it to you with this little like mesh strainer and this kind of like ceramic cup.
Oh, lovely. Oh, look, it's even got the cute little mug as well. Look at that. Just literally going to come back and sit down and very just like prim and proper. Just it's lovely.
Little finger out, like.
Yeah, just a little bit. Oh, 2 sugars in there. Wonderful.
Fucking Dragonborn that came to tea, like.
That's right. Oh, little cup. Look at that. Do you love it when they put the milk in a little thing like that? Look at that. Ready? Oh, look at that. Spot on that is. Spot on that is. Full of vitamins. That's good.
So, Stargazers Guild, right?
Apparently so.
Yes, I think so. Well, if it were to be the next starting of the week, that would mean that the night in question would be tonight.
How serendipitous.
Fortunate for us, indeed. Provided that the meeting in question has not elapsed. But then again, why would he still have the note if it had?
I suppose that's my concern. Is will he have noticed that the note's gone?
It's my understanding it is a copy that you made.
Well, that would be smart.
That's correct. Yeah, she
That'd be
said
smart.
she copied down the words and left the note where it was. Yeah.
That's fine.
She is no fool.
No, I didn't think she was. Bit
Let's,
bad and bruised though.
She has had a turbulent history, as I understand it.
Oh, I didn't want to press, but
Well, you know, you
some
gotta
nasty scars.
crack a couple of eggs to make an omelette, so to speak, and
And she looked
that
like.
revolution was a big fucking omelette.
Alright, anyway.
I'm walking to the door.
Okay, so you hop up from the table with Sigurd draining the last of his coffee, and together you begin to make your way to the door and head out into the streets. The trades ward, early hours of the morning, it's not super busy. You can see a few people are beginning to stir. Shops are beginning to open up for the morning. Kind of a lot of like canvas awnings being pulled out. A few market stalls that lay the streets around the area are beginning to set up shop for the day. Am I right? Hold on. No, I'm not right. This is the last day of the week. There are no market stalls. I've got a calendar now.
Hey,
This is Ressen, which is the last day of the week, day of rest. There are no markets today, but several of the shops still open. Not all of them.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
So,
of course, yeah.
if we're
5 day weeks, isn't it?
to
Yes.
be going by
Based.
the next first night,
So that would be tomorrow night.
tomorrow night,
Past midnight.
then do
So
we
this
need
night.
to be going to the guild today? Would we not go
Yes,
to it
I-
tomorrow?
Well, it'd be good to scope it out, right?
Okay.
Quite sure of next first night. But is it not the first night when we cross over into it?
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's what I was thinking.
And if no one shows up, then at least we have the right location and we can go there tomorrow night.
To make
also.
use of the word again, a meeting in the early hours of the morning is quite clandestine, isn't it?
Yes.
True. Just saw Paul coming around the corner like this.
Well, do we want to stop at my workshop and see if our money's been left there?
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
It's not far, we're already in the Trace Ward, so.
Oh, very well. If we see any shops that we want to pop in,
I left
have
the
a
door
look.
open for you.
Can say good morning to Ethel.
What?
Ethel,
Who's Ethel?
the potions. The potions.
I thought that was the apothecist.
Oh,
The original one?
yeah, the first potion shop you went into, or the first like magic shop you went to. Yeah, the owner was called Althar.
Why do I feel like the apothecist has got like a fucking like a load of like fucking garage mixtapes under it? Do you want to listen to my mix?
Just VHS copies of 7 with Brad Pitt.
Right, come on. I'll lead the way.
Leads away.
And this time I won't lead us into a tavern with a fight pit where some of us get concussed.
That tiefling, she was quite quick. She said she was trained in the monastery and killed him. It's interesting, isn't it?
A monastery on top of the mountain.
I know, it's just I didn't really think that training fighters was what they did.
It's a small world.
The new cool.
I don't know.
As I understand, the Althar monks.
Oh, alright, that's quite cool. Alright.
Great secrets need defending.
Follow.
That is true.
Lead along.
Okay, so heading to Sigurd's workshop.
Heading to my workshop.
Okay. So you start along the trades ward. It's not a particularly long way for you to get to the workshop. This is where it is situated. So after a little while of walking through the streets, like winding this way and that, passing through a few shortcuts down alleyways, you eventually come out upon this row where the workshop stands. Pulling out your key, you kind of open up the door.
There are these two large, sort of like light blue, painted in light blue, these two large doors, and there's a little side door to the side of it, which I have unlocked.
Cool. The big doors being for bringing
things
pieces
in,
of like,
shit in and out
Stuff
is the
in and
technical
out.
term, I think.
It's kind of like the ground floor of a building that has like a few kind of stories above. So there's like a wooden staircase which goes up the side to a little wooden balcony above, which disappears into another, you assume like an office or something that somebody rents for whatever reason. But you head inside, your foot catches something, this small envelope, just fallen, like it looks like it's been posted under the door. And you catch it, and it opens it up.
Pick it up.
And you open it, it seems to have it has a seal on it of the Senate. You open it. It's a small piece of parchment which has been folded over rather than put into an envelope. But it says, your reward will be delivered upon verification of task completion.
Fucking bastard.
No more, currently.
You're not going to believe this one. Reward will be delivered on verification of the task's completion. So, whenever that'll be is anybody's guess.
It won't.
Well, at least you have it in writing.
It is signed as well. Judas Hippolytus. So it is in writing. It is a, this is a man of the law. That is a binding contract that you had not previously had. Everything had just been verbal to this
Does
point.
it say on the letter that there's a time on this verification?
No, I'm not going to lie, Blink. I think it's probably going to be bottom of the list because it involves having to pay us.
Well, our business keeps us in the city at least for
A short amount longer.
days.
What if he verifies it in a few months?
I feel like in a few months there will be ample opportunities to make more coin.
That's true, but
Especially as we are working in the favor of Senator Vorrigan. And it will all find its way here eventually.
We'll see.
And Sigurd is an honest man, I'm sure, when it arrives.
Oh, it's
Hold
not.
on
Sorry,
to
this
focus.
isn't. Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's.
oh no, of course.
No, I trust that you are. It's just I don't trust the Judicia,
I'm good for it. Yeah.
to be quite honest.
The Judicia does not seem like the most trustworthy fellow.
No, ex-Imperial Mage as well. It's not the best look, is it?
No.
Also, didn't like. We didn't really talk about this, but I didn't like the whole. That when they did the whole like, oh, we're going to burn it in front of the free. It just seemed very. What's the word? Performative. When he burnt his.
He was making a speech.
Well, it's going to rile them up, innit? Because it makes it look like those three are on board with it. Do you get what I mean? It's like using symbology to make the crowd think.
Surely that would not be his intention.
Oh, surely not. Surely not. That'd be really naughty, wouldn't it?
That would be rather untoward.
Here on the notice statues, come look at this. I unlock the door, side door to my workshop, and push it open. Come on in.
I follow.
You're in what you see is a fairly small workshop with like a load of there are a load of sort of cabinets with tools and like there's a bowl on the back where there are they're sort of with nails sticking out of it. They've got chisels and hammers of various shapes and sizes, and the floor is very dusty, with this sort of fine white dust, your footprints. And there are a pile of bricks in a corner on a pallet. In the very centre of the room is this like a large covered. You can obviously see it as a statue.
May we see it?
Yeah, of course. I just want to get your opinion. Just pull it down. And it's very incomplete. But what you see is it's a block in the centre, and you can see from the base where it has been carved right in. Are 4 large sort of muscular arms, and the definition has been cut in on the very, very meticulously on the muscle. I'm just like, what do you think of the arms? I'm looking at them. I'm just worried they're a bit too blocky.
That is.
I'm not sure yet. I haven't done
Marvelous craftsmanship.
the rest of it. But
I don't really understand what I'm looking at.
that's just a statue of.
What's it supposed to be?
I don't know.
Oh, is it like modern art sort of thing, is it?
You could see that, yeah.
It's very good.
I'm trying to make a statement, you know.
What's the statement?
4 arms and a block.
Well, that's for you to decide.
Oh, is it like it's what's the word?
It's not done yet. I mean, you know,
Yeah, it's an interpretive piece.
yeah, you know, I
it's
might
really good.
I might do some other stuff on the middle of the block as and when it comes to me. And it's meant to be a very free-flowing thing and just kind of what comes to me. You know,
I'm sure it will compel discussion.
Could you reckon?
I cannot fault the detail, even if I do not understand the intent.
you don't think it's too blocky? I'm just no.
well,
This bit I go to the
I'm
lower
certain
left
you will
arm.
refine
I'm kinda I just think like under this and under the bicep here, it's a little. I'm feeling
the
it.
bicep.
It feels a bit flat. Like
Gonna get really close to it and start like. Oh, it's nice. Can't make heads or tails of it, but it is nice.
No tails.
No tails, just 4 arms.
no tails. Yeah, there might be a tail.
You might add a tail.
Do you mind me asking what your
Inspiration for this piece was.
Just stuff that comes to me. Sometimes while I'm working, sometimes
Any particular source?
sometimes something I'll see in a dream and go, oh, that was interesting. And then,
It certainly has a dreamlike quality to it.
good.
It feels like it could be quite scary. I feel like if you I don't know what your centre would do on it, but what you do in the centre even, but it kind of looks like it could have some sort of creepy aberration sort of vibe.
Well, thank you for showing this.
No, for sure.
Thanks for
Good insight into your life.
sharing some words about it. I like people to take a look here from time to time, tell me what they think, because that the words will linger and maybe
Something will
maybe
come.
something with that. Maybe something.
It's giving horror at the moment. It's giving
horror.
It's giving spooky.
I've never ventured into that myself, but
I mean,
There's a market for it.
who knows?
for sure. So what you making here then? Is it all statues or?
This
Starting
is
to
a
like take tools off.
personal,
Looking at them,
personal
just like-
project. It depends. I mean, most of my work is, as you guys know when you met me, building work and
sat at your workstation, just like, yeah, this is.
you know, sometimes
bit too
it's a little small for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's just like his knees are higher than his stomach. He's just like
Sitting at the preschool desk.
It depends. Sometimes, you know, I've had some nobles commission work and stuff. It's been a bit dry on the freelance side of things, but you know, when that happens, you pick up work doing renovations and what have you.
But all in all, really nice workshop.
Oh,
mate.
thank you
I
for-
quite like it.
Thanks for the thought-provoking comments.
Reminds me of home, actually, which is
I
really
look
nice.
forward to seeing your completed piece.
Yeah, me too.
I think you need to, give a little sweep though.
Yeah. What would you
Oh, it's fun.
sweep the floor?
So making your way out of the workshop
Something we do.
and back out into the trades ward. You're heading straight for the guild ward. At this point, is that the plan? Okay, so it's a little bit further south. You sort of take the road south towards past the cathedral to where the civic ward would be, and then you kind of turn west and you head in that direction.
and the guild ward sort of crests along the side of the river on its west bank. It takes you from here probably about 20 minutes, half an hour or so to get there. At this point in the day, seems to be fairly busy now as things are starting to open up. You've spent a little bit of time walking and a little bit of time in this workshop belonging to Sigurd, and the streets begin to sort of come into life a little bit more as the morning draws on. Eventually, these cobbled streets, you can see, become lined with these tall guild houses. They are built of stone and marble, most of them emblazoned with various crests representing the trades and crafts that these different guilds oversee. In the heart of the ward, which you now eventually reach as you kind of snake your way through in the road, is a rectangular plaza with a fountain in the center, which is overlooked by large buildings where banners here flutter in the wind, displaying the colors and symbols of these various guilds. There's the hammer of the blacksmiths and the quill of the scribes and scales of the merchants, etc., etc. And the buildings are largely well maintained. They have polished steps, large imposing doors. But as you pass through this plaza and begin to come a little bit closer to the river, the signs of past devastation become clear. Near the water's edge, on the kind of eastern side of the ward, there is a row of derelict buildings. These once grand halls, which were partially destroyed during the battle which occurred here. Nowhere near to the extent that the Shatter was, but this was clearly close to another impact point.
As we look over there, any spires?
Make a little perception check for me as you're looking over. There's a few buildings that seem to have some tall turrets and things like that to them.
Any strange multi-tiered buildings of Zendron make?
There is, yes, a sprawling garden behind a wall with a red brick top, which was clearly quite badly caught in whatever destruction occurred here. It's towards the edge of the river. And you can see that there was once this kind of green lawn out the front of it as you kind of pass by the gates, which is now sort of grey and brown, and the grass has died, and the building stands with a sort of dilapidated right half. The wall itself has crumbled away as well. There is some kind of like graffiti has been done on the front in like chalk or like charcoal. Kind of like various things have been scrawled on it, but just another one of these buildings that has sort of fallen to ruin over the time that has been stood here. But what was
that doesn't affect me at all.
I didn't like saying that. What was that perception check?
It was 14.
It was 14. You cast your eyes across this slightly more dilapidated side of the ward, and a little bit further in the distance, it's kind of over on the right hand side, not quite towards where this impact point would have been. There is a large tower which seems to just peek over the tops of even some of the taller buildings in this area. It has a kind of domed top with a spire, like a spike at the top, and then it's, imagine like a domed top with pillars coming around where you could stand toes out to the drop that comes off the edge.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. You can see that in the distance.
Ooh, okay. Do I know what that is, or am I not sure what it is?
It's just the tallest spire in the area, from what you can tell.
Just point over to it. I think that could be it.
It seems a rather tall tower.
Very tall. Looks like a dome structure where people could perhaps stand and look. Is the dome like a tiled roof, or is it?
It's a stone, like dome curved roof, and it seems to have some kind of like spike at the top of it.
Any entryways?
Not from where you can see. You're a few streets away from it, so you're just seeing it peek over the roofs of a couple of other buildings at this point.
Right, little fucker on the roofs.
Ooh, okay. You throw your little crab. And he
Just like
this little like, propeller pops out of his back and starts, and he's like kind of hanging as he flies and really like lazily and clumsily kind of disappears into the distance. So you can't like walk into him like familiar.
But he can communicate with me.
But he can convey basic things.
Basically, yeah. So I can understand what he is seeing.
Yeah.
But I can't see it for myself.
The idea that reaches you, not through words or any spoken communication, is it's like, okay, I'm flying over rooftops, drawing closer. and comes up to this tower. It's a large building, very steep tiled roof, and this tower coming from the one end of this building up, and it looks over the buildings on the outside. Seems to have a lot of room for people to have observed around the outside of it. That's pretty much it. The streets around it very empty, and
So it'll be quite cool just because it can convey everything that it sees anyway. As if I'm getting like some sort of small image of this in the eyepiece.
yeah, like a kind of
Like a-
a weirdly kind of distorted,
Yeah, almost like
unclear vision of what it's seeing.
Got a controller.
almost like blueprinty.
Just
It's like everything's kind of got like
You're
lines.
getting like the outlines of things.
Like it's conveying the outlines, and that's kind of being drawn into this.
Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. You're getting very vague ideas of what you see. The building looks rather severely dilapidated. There are holes in the roof. Parts of the wall have crumbled. It's very close to other buildings around it, so the streets here are quite narrow. And the other buildings surrounding it are quite similar. They seem to have fallen into a state of disrepair. This whole section of the ward seems to have been abandoned long ago. But it's definitely the tallest tower in the area.
Looks pretty out of use.
Is that not a good thing?
Well, no, it is, but you know,
A perfect place for a subversive meeting spot.
for sure. It's got lots of damage to it, and it's quite close to the buildings surrounding.
no. Well, maybe worth asking around and just.
Moving in for a closer look.
Well, we can ask someone who works in a shop nearby. Do you know where the Stargazers Guild was or is?
My only worry is, and obviously we want to be really sort of, conspicuous with this, is that we are quite a clear group currently. So if we were going around asking questions about it in the sake of this, basically in a nutshell, one of you guys who's maybe not as colourful, should we say, and I'll go sit in a shop or something. Are there any cafes about?
Not so much cafes in this area, but there are some kind of like areas where people are kind of sat on benches and things like that, sort of discussing. It's a fairly cold day though, so there's not that many people who are like
The
sitting
building
around
itself
outside.
is still signposted,
Maybe.
or at least has some kind of identifying plaque. So if we were to just walk by it initially,
Yeah, that's not a bad
we
idea.
may identify it as what we are looking for.
Good call. Should we try that first?
Stargazers Guild or something referring to Lathrin.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do a drive-by.
Okay, so heading into the slightly more dilapidated part of the. Okay.
Keep your eyes peeled. This is likely to be ne'er-do-wells lingering since this place.
What? Sorry, say again. It's likely to be.
Near do wells.
All right.
People of opportunity.
Got you. All right.
Any crows?
That's a good point, actually. Does it say any crows?
So you can send telepathy to it as well.
Yeah. So it's a two-way. It's a two-way system.
So yeah, you send out this message, and do you want it to get closer?
Yeah.
Okay. It does so. Begins closer to this tower, drawing in, and kind of like hovering on one side. And give me a perception check for it.
It would be a 9.
9. Doesn't spot anything.
Okay.
It makes a little round of this tower and then comes back in.
Yeah. No. Nothing.
Are you walking through the streets while you're?
I
sort of-
believe so.
Yeah.
Are we like inconspicuously walking
I think
towards
we
it?
are just walking past it.
Yeah. Okay.
People do use these streets, although the buildings around them are very run down and dilapidated. It's not boarded off like the Shatter is, or anything like that. There's no breach through to the catacombs here, so it's simply a dilapidated part of the city.
Ponty Precinct.
Yeah.
Right, basically. So you pass like a couple of people, not many. Like people tend to avoid this area, but it's not cordoned off in any way. So you start to make your way through the streets. You do see a few people kind of like lurking at the edges of alleyways who kind of like give you an eye as you walk past. People who look a little bit more unsavory. And what you do notice is a few of the abandoned buildings there, you hear a little like shuffle of noise inside as you walk past. That maybe people squatting in these buildings or otherwise using them as shelter, people who don't have homes. So there are a fair few people, but begin to press through the streets, and eventually you come to the street that overlooks, or at least joins into the street that overlooks this building. It's tall, in a severe state of disrepair, There are vines crawling up the walls of not this building itself, but the building opposite it, which is a little bit taller than the lower half of this building. But then you've got the spire, which rises up above all of the other buildings in the area and stands at least 30 foot or so higher than all of them. What you do see on the side of this spire is a large, now sort of rusted and sort of like hanging to one side looking sigil, which is a large silver circle, which you would assume to be depicting the moon on the side of this tower.
Is it on the dome or the tower?
It's on the tower, on the wall of the tower. Around it, you can see rivets that were probably once holding something else, which has since fallen. You can see the rust marks which have dripped down the stone. But this large silver moon is still aloft in the center against the wall.
That looks like the eye.
Seems to be.
That, I think you're right, is our
The
eye.
silver eye will be upon the whole. The Laffren spire looks upon all.
Well, that's got to be it, right?
Could I just have a quick
would
glance
like to
around just
believe
to
it.
see if there's anything that literally says the name of this building?
Says what it is.
Yeah.
From what you've seen of most of the buildings you've walked past, it's been a lot of iconography rather
Okay.
than clear worded signs. But give it a little perception check just to see.
Does it look visually distinct from Izmir's holy symbol as well?
Yes, it does. It is different, definitely.
17.
17. That is the only symbology you can see on this building. There's no sign which says exactly in words what it is. It is more iconography and symbols.
Yeah.
You can see that there's this large circular moon in the center, and where the rivets were on each side, I'd say from looking at it, you kind of squint, you assume that there was probably a crescent moon on either side of it. So you'd have this kind of like full moon in the center and then the crescent on either side, making this kind of symmetrical shape. And then from some of the rivers around it, there were probably a few stars there at some point, which have since fallen off.
It seems like the right place. Might be worth trying to find some way to get inside now, so we do not have to stress about that later.
Good idea.
I'll try and.
Do the doors and windows look intact?
You head up a little bit closer to the building. The windows have all been boarded. There is what looks to be a main door, which is also boarded off. And there is a dilapidated piece of wall which seems to open up into the inside of the building. It's a fairly big building as you get close to it now. It looks like there was this large kind of central hall, which may have been some kind of library or something like that at some point. It's now pretty much picked clean. You can see that there's a cracked marble tiled floor on the inside, which is quite severely broken. And then upstairs there are floorboards over the top. Again, sections of them have kind of fallen through. And you can just see the underboards which look down onto the floor below. So as you look up, you can just see the ceiling of the sloped part of the roof above.
But you're saying that there is a hole in the wall that we could maybe come through?
Yeah, there's a hole in the wall.
Okay. Well, that is our entry. Is it worth
Where
going
is this
inside
hole in the wall? Just like
having a
Yeah,
walk
it
foot
just
level?
opens onto the street.
on the
It's like a part of the wall that's crumbled away. It looks like there was a window there at one point, which is like the structurally kind of unsound as broken below it. You can see the top arch of the window, and then it's just like dilapidated brick.
Okay.
Is it worth perhaps looking inside now to make sure that it is clear of any squatters?
Yeah, we can do.
Sounds good. Can I? I'll sneak my way in.
Okay, make a stealth check for me.
Is that with disadvantage? Or was the other stuff with disadvantage?
Nothing with disadvantage for stealth, no.
What was it?
You were doing a history check.
History
because
check,
you've been
that's
drunk
what it
the
was.
night before,
Yeah.
yeah. No, stealth's fine.
Vulnerable to thunder
15.
damage, so don't get
Yeah,
thunder
that was
damage.
15. Cool. So you very quietly kind of like crouch down and begin to move along, and everyone else kind of stands back a bit,
Damaged
and you
tower.
kind of bring it back to this wall and look around and then sneak inside. You now find yourself in this large hall. It's dark, dim in here because the sun is kind of cut off from all the boarded up windows. You move to one side. You can see that there are areas where there were a couple of rooms on one side, doorways leading into them. Now the doorways are empty, there's no actual doors in them, they're just archways which lead into these two rooms. At the other end, then there is a large staircase which goes up one side and seems to lead onto the floor above.
Okay.
but you can't see an entryway into the staircase for the tower itself from this floor.
Are you guys waiting, or are
I
you?
think we are waiting to see what you see.
I'll walk back out, and I'll just
Convey everything.
Yeah.
It is safe to enter. Okay, right. Nice and quiet, maybe.
Sure.
Okay. So all of you heading in? Yeah. Okay. So one by one going through this fairly narrow gap in the wall. You do kind of have to take it one at a time, especially Iago. You kind of have to turn to one side. As you do so, there's like a little scrape, and there is a scurrying noise around the ground, and you see a small fox just dart from one side of the room to the other, and then out, like past your legs and out into the street and into an alleyway. It disappears.
Is it kind of picked clean? Is it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a few remnants of furniture. There's a couple of bookshelves. There's nothing left on them. It's been left this way probably for the last decade.
Perhaps we should be mindful that whoever is meeting may already be here.
yeah.
Silver eye upon the hall. So they're meeting where the emblem or that moon emblem is.
I think we are in the hall that the silver eye is on.
Alright, okay.
That makes sense.
Are there any holes in the ceiling or anything?
There are holes in the ceiling that's above you leading up to the floor above, yeah. The floorboards have fallen away in places.
Perhaps we will have to be careful of our footing.
Is there one even where there's a hole in the ceiling going above, but there's also a hole in the actual ceiling?
Not that you can see, no. The tiled ceiling above seems to be fairly okay. The actual tiled roof of the building. You can see the what they call the beams that go across.
I believe we are in the right place.
No, I'd agree with you.
But yeah, we will have to find a way up the tower if it is going to take place at the top.
So, I mean,
'Cause what does it say? Where Lathran's spy looks upon all. They could meet anywhere in the building, I suppose, and that is just one more clue. But if they are going to the effort of being this sneaky and clandestine and also dramatic.
So the stairs leading up to the second floor from this floor, they're wooden, and they seem to be in fairly good condition. A couple of them have fallen away, but they lead up on the side opposite to the side that the tower itself is on.
okay.
Alright. Perhaps the access to the tower is from the second floor, or perhaps it is a separate staircase.
Maybe.
Do you want me to do the same thing again? Keep myself quiet?
If you want to, yes.
Yeah. I'll sneak my way up as light-footedly as I can,
Okay.
in order not to creak.
Could you make a stealth check, please?
Music went off.
Not 20.
That's 20.
Ooh, baby.
Nice, okay. So,
It was the dice.
For a total of...
Oh, yeah,
20,
still
23.
quiet as a mouse, you duck and kind of pull away from the group and start to make your way towards the staircase. Keeping to the edges and the sides of it, you step with your feet close to the railings, minimizing the creaking sound that comes from these steps. And as one by one you begin to ascend, and you can just see the second floor like peeking over the top. There's a little bit of a balcony which overlooks the floor below, and then two doorways which you can go through. No doors in them, they're just kind of archways in the wall which lead into the second floor. As you sneak along and kind of look through, you can see that the second floor was divided up into more kind of offices and smaller rooms, with a central corridor that runs through the middle, and various doorways now which lead into smaller rooms to the sides. And at the very, very end, you can see the start of a spiral staircase, which seems to go up into the tower. But the floor is severely damaged. There are a lot of gaps in the floorboards which look down to the floor below.
Any signs of life at all?
Make a perception check.
$18.
A rat scurries from one side of the room to the other. It's kind of like squeaking noise, and you can hear flapping above you as a couple of what you'd assume to be bats up in the rafters above kind of flap this way and that.
Okay. I'll come back down.
Okay. You sneak again, stairs at a time, very, very quietly back to the group.
You said it was right at the end. The
Spiral staircase right at the end.
There's a few empty doorways. right at the end, there's a spiral staircase.
Leading into our tower?
That's ominous.
I'd assume so.
Well, that makes sense. Any sign of anyone?
There's bats, there's rats.
Oh, I quite like the
Rats and
rats.
rats.
Oh, they get a bad rap, but
I mean, there is a chance that this is just a dead drop, and that whatever we are looking for has been left up there for Advaris, since there's no face-to-face meeting.
Could well be the
that's
case.
also true.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I'm going to keep my eyes... Now that we've come back,
I
I've come
can't,
back
I
down
have
the
to
stairs,
be-
I'm going to keep my eyes sort of
I'm
trained
beast
on
born,
where
but
we
I'm
came
able
in.
to see the beast.
The
Well, my concussed and hungover guide after you.
second floor floorboards from the stairs to the spiral staircase.
Yes.
How secure do they look?
There are large holes in them.
It is an obstacle we must traverse.
I don't trust him to get across.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Okay, I'll try and test the waters and try and get myself over to the spiral staircase.
So you step onto it and kind of like place a foot forward and hear this creak and this kind of seems to hold as you step onto it. And now ahead of you there's a large gap where you can just see like the beams that run underneath the floorboards, which would run perpendicular. So
Okay.
you've kind of got a section where you're probably going to need to balance along a beam to get to the next complete section of floor.
Acrobatics.
So could you make an acrobatics check, please?
18.
18. So one foot in front of the other, you kind of arms out, take a breath, and from up here it looks like a much bigger drop than it did from down below, but you step at a time and just clear it on the other side. Your feet now finding the floorboards.
Oh, I'm too hungover for this. And I'll walk as slow as I can to try and just keep going.
Okay, so again, along the floorboards. Seems to hold okay. Again, a bit of a creak
You're doing wonderful.
below your feet.
Again, I'll take my next step.
Okay. Again, you step forward, there's another. You kind of take a sharp intake of breath and stand still.
This does not sound good. How far over is it? How far over is the other side of the spiral staircase on the other side?
The room below is about 80 feet end to end. With the staircase taken into account, it's probably about 60 feet.
60 feet, okay.
But it holds enough for you to get to the next section where it's fallen away. And again, you've got some more beams, which you probably need to balance over.
I'm going to follow...
Or you could try and jump it.
Follow slowly in Blake's footsteps.
Before you do that, I've just realised whoever needs to be up there has to do this too. So I'm hoping we'll find another entrance up there that's not this.
Perhaps. So maybe you go up...
It is likely that whoever he is meeting is also magically inclined.
That is true.
Maybe... do you want to go up first and see if we can find another entrance, or... Because I'm like foot on a beam, I'm like...
It is a tower. I do not know if there's going to be another entrance. It goes straight up and then comes down to here.
I think we should do this one at a time.
You're like halfway.
Beam to jump to.
Yeah.
Yeah, jump to the beam.
Or you can balance either way. You can either try and jump from one section of floorboards to the other, or balance along a beam.
I'll do the balance.
Okay, acrobatics check, please.
How many of these has he got left to do?
Just this, and then he's up the stairs.
17.
17. So again, you kind of step foot ahead of the other. As you get about halfway along it, you just hear a underneath your feet, and you just stop and wait. And a bead of sweat just kind of drips down and onto the floor below, and it falls into a puddle that has kind of accumulated on the lower floor.
All the other sweat.
Is it all my sweat?
It's all the other sweat from all the other people
kind of
who've come past this way.
Step at a time, and then the last few, you kind of rush forward and back onto the floorboards.
Honestly, mate, I wish you hadn't stopped. It really stressed me out.
And you are now safe with the
Right.
entrance to the spiral staircase ahead of you.
Okay. Fuck that for a laugh, and I'm going to venture along the same way that Blink went. initially until I get to the beam.
Okay. So you step onto the floorboards.
You guys
I'm guessing you guys are waiting at the top of the stairs on the other
I'm
side.
waiting at the top of the
I'm
stairs.
still
Yargo's-
underneath looking
You're
up.
still underneath. Okay.
Thompson,
Yeah, you can see Yago
Stupid.
through the gap in the floorboards.
Can Yago see good?
Yeah, you'd be able to see him now just coming. You can see his shadow between the floorboards above your head. And yeah, it seems to hold. You could either try and balance along a beam or you can try and jump it.
And I'm just gonna vanish, puff smoke, and appear at the foot of the stairs. I'm gonna quickly miss the stairs.
And next to you, you just
I pulled it.
Sigurd just appears.
Yeah, I was not a chance in that one.
Yeah.
No way.
So, why didn't you do that in the first place?
Because it doesn't go that far.
Oh, crap.
Do you two feel confident investigating that tower on your own, or would you prefer my company?
I'd like to have someone keep an eye out for anyone who might possibly come in.
That's right, I'll do it.
Very well.
I'm still downstairs anyway, so I may as well.
Okay, Yago, can you make a perception check if you're keeping watch?
I'm just gonna sit on. Is it like a barrel or like a box or something I can sit on?
Yeah, there's like a few dilapidated bits around the edges.
Alright, I'm gonna sit and I'll stare at that entrance that we came through. Perception, yeah?
Yes, please.
Oh, look, a rat.
4.
They're actually
No.
they're quite cute. Look, oh. Come here. Alright, you little fucker. I'll get it. You don't want to.
I'm sure he's got it under control. Should we head up?
My own edification.
I'm on all fours trying to get this rat.
What is
This
the
little rat
condition
just
of the walls in this corridor?
The walls?
Yeah.
So what you're seeing ahead of you is basically a wide hall where areas of the floor have fallen away, and then on the sides you've got what looks to be kind of divided into smaller rooms. So there are a few doorways. None of them have intact doors in them anymore. Those that do are hanging off the hinges.
But the walls themselves, how are they constructed?
Oh, they seem to be timber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me first, you first.
Well, you've done a great job so far, haven't you?
Okay. Keep an eye out for.
Someone's dropped their gold. Pick it up.
I know, Santa Gold.
Keep an eye out for anything that me and you might be able to hide inside.
All right, okay. We're gonna head up the spiral staircase.
Okay.
13?
13 stealth?
Stealth.
Okay.
I'll roll for perception now as well.
Fairly quiet, but these steps seem to be. They have more of a creak to them. And you try and keep as close to the wall as you can, but even when you do, there's this kind of like.
Yeah, I'll sort of like back my way.
Okay.
Keep my back against. Which way do they go? Do they right or left?
They go. Oh god, clockwise. They go clockwise.
So keep my back against the left-hand wall. Then.
Yes.
I
Kind of like sneaking up.
dirty 20 on my stuff.
Nice.
I would like to. Just gonna take the teacup out that I've nabbed from this morning.
Yeah.
Start kind of doing some little bits with it. I'm gonna go balance it on the entryway,
Okay.
so that it is going to. It's going to release a. It's going to release a rat sound, but to a specific rhythm. If
Okay.
it gets nudged
Oh,
or
okay.
moved.
So it's right in the entrance.
Right in the entrance, just there to the side, like you would. You said it's quite narrow, the entrance. wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
relatively.
So it'd be quite hard to avoid it.
Not knock it or move it in some
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just going to be sat there on the entrance.
Nice.
Kind of inconspicuous, and it'll do like a.
Okay. Okay. Noted.
Just to try and help my perception with keeping an eye on the door.
Okay. That's cool. I like that.
There's a sports rat.
So, Sigurd, you very quietly begin to follow the steps up behind Blink.
20. Dirty 20 on
Did
the
20 on
perception.
perception. You keep an eye out as you go up the stairs. There are no barrels or anything obstructing you.
Okay.
You do get about halfway up, however, and your foot taps something on the floor. You nearly knock it off the back of that wooden step. But as your eyes come down to it, you look, and it's very old, very dusty. but on the ground there appears to be a pair, like a kind of pair of goggles, essentially, on the ground.
As I've caught these with my foot, I've stopped Sigurd with my right hand.
Sigurd. Okay, what have you found?
I'll lean down and
Say, goggles. They're not mine. Take the goggles.
Take a look at them. They seem to be a pair of round circular lenses with brass enclosures joined in the centre, and down the sides of the enclosures, as they would run along the temple at the side of the head before coming to a leather strap at the back, look to be they're chiseled to look like wings.
Oh,
which kind of like tip along the side, and then go into this leather strap at the back.
there's so much gold in mine. But I best not keep them. I'll just keep all of these for the minute. Interesting.
we'll keep going.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
So again, a step at a time, you continue upwards. It's a fairly tall tower. You're climbing for a little while as you're going at this slow, stealthy pace. And eventually, it crests to a top where a wooden railing follows it around into a circular room. Very, very top of the tower. Could you make a perception check just as you're coming up to the top? I'm assuming you're not just darting straight up there, but you're stopping and looking.
Yeah, okay. As soon as, again, stop Sigurd to...
I found the top. Top's here.
perception, you said?
Yes.
14.
18, yeah, for my perception.
And make another stealth check for me.
You want another one from me as well?
Yes, please. If you're cresting the top with Blink.
Yep.
8. And it was on the different
Oh,
dice.
That was 8 with your modifier included.
R.I.P.
That hanger's hitting hard, man.
The perception was an 18.
Okay.
Stealth is a 17.
You are so lucky.
Oh.
That was such a bad roll. You
Nothing else.
kind of you poke your head over the top of the top of these floorboards and look. And the two of you, your heads just kind of like slowly coming up next to each other. And perched on the edge, there's like a little outcropping, like a kind of pointed bit of stone which comes out on the side as a kind of ledge you could stand on. You could assume that at some point this was the perfect place for a tripod to be mounted for a telescope. But on the very, very edge is perched a small black bird. It's got its back to you, and it is looking out over the city. And it rolled a 2 on its perception check. So it is looking at...
Stay with the newspaper.
It's looking at something in the city, and it's fixated on it. But you've now come up, and it's about 15 feet away from you.
That's a big tower.
Yeah, it is.
I just like pointing that. Absolutely fucking not, you lunatic! No, don't touch the fucking crow! You could respond to this message! Okay. You're done to leave. Shall I grab it? Just look through my bag for anything that I could potentially house it in. If I were to successfully grab it.
What have you got in your inventory?
Oh, the crow cage that I bought last Just a full bird cage.
You've got your backpack itself, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a barrel.
And your barrel, yeah. Well, your keg. It's only about this big. But yeah, your backpack or the keg, both of those things would be fairly suitable.
I'm just gonna.
I'll open the back.
I'm
I'll
going
go
to
back down the stairs a little bit, and then I'll open it.
All of this is a telepathic message to Blink. So I'm speaking telepathically and allowing Blink to respond to messages telepathically.
Okay.
Is it maybe best to leave it be? Because if Boreas is coming to meet it here,
That's true.
it gives the game away, and everything's gone up in smoke. I too am going to begin to descend the stairs,
You're creeping back down.
nice and silently.
Give me a stealth check.
Ah!
As you begin to move back down.
Both of us?
Yes, please. If you're following him, yeah.
While I'm doing that, is there any like nooks or crannies to hide?
So
I'm not cranny now.
I'd say with your perception check as well. What did you get? when you came up to the top. Sorry, I've forgotten what it
We're
was.
so fucked.
Can you remember what my perception check was?
Was it 13?
So it was 13.
13.
Yeah.
There is, at the top of you, there are these pillars which kind of go around the outside. So you're essentially open to the elements up here. There are pillars which hold up the roof, and they're around the outside. There are 4 of these triangular points in the stone which go out, and you could tell there would have been telescopes mounted on each of these at some point. They kind of go in the 4 cardinal directions. But above, in the outskirts of the ceiling part, you can see that this is boarded over with wood. There's floorboards at the top. You can see the beams which go across, holding them in place, and there seems to be a hatch up in the top.
Whoa.
This looks like it was potentially some kind of storage area at the top of this tower.
I'm assuming I would have seen it as long as my roll's higher than...
Yes, you would have seen it as well.
Okay, so I'm going to start descending and stop, noticing it again. Is the hatch open? There's no door.
It's just a hatch.
I can see through the hatch.
Yes.
How high up is the hatch from where I am?
How high up is the hatch from where you are? It's not that... This tower's not that tall. It's probably about 10, 15 foot.
I'm going to...
Anything leading up to the hatch, obviously. No ladder or anything.
There's no ladder.
I'm just going to... Okay, I'm going up there. As I just disappear.
Okay, so you've ducked below the steps at this point already. As Sigurd, you
Misty step.
kind of silently misty step to the top of this hatch, and you just appear in this very, very small, cramped space. There are a few barrels and a few crates strewn around, and you can see that there are a pile of old telescopes, which are now quite badly rusted in the corner of the room. You can see some apparatus that was once part of like old tripods that these telescopes would have stood on. Again, they're kind of gathering dust and cobwebs in the corner. Very, very creaky on the ground, so you kind of stand really, really still as you appear. You just hear a... and it sounds like this bird is just kind of like hopping along the stone ground.
You're just a little guy.
I'm gonna go down.
You carrying on. You just quickly begin like stealthily moving down the steps.
Can I... Is there any of me to hide? Any crates or boxes or anything I can hide in?
There are crates, there are barrels.
I'm gonna... Dwarves are great at hiding in barrels.
Yeah, that's true.
We
know this.
I'm gonna...
That's a known fact.
I'm
This
gonna
is a
pop.
known
I'm gonna
fact.
pop it open and get in the barrel.
Slowly open up the
hoping
lid.
it's empty.
Give me a stealth check as you go.
It's full of rotten potatoes, naturally.
21.
Nice.
9.
Okay. You
Yes.
very
10. Finish on the
quietly-
campaign. Let's go.
very quietly take the lid off this barrel and just edge your way into it and just bring it down above your head just as you hear. You can't see anything, but you can hear. And there's silence for a few seconds. And then off into the distance.
Why am I scared of a crow? It's a crow! Oh god, okay.
Seems to have now taken off and made its way off the tower elsewhere.
Would I be aware of this?
You would have heard it flutter away, yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to get back down to the bottom of the spiral staircase.
You know, as you hear it leave, just kind of like, just kind of like cowardly start making your way down the steps.
I'll peek my head over the borders. Yago!
What's happening, mate? You alright?
Keep it down.
What's happening, mate? You alright?
Yago, you hear. As you kind of look to one side, and you can see a shadow coming up in that cracked bit of the wall.
Can I cast jump on myself? I literally
Jump, and you go for one of those gaps in the floorboards,
Yeah,
and you're like, and just land, and you hear it below your feet, as you now just hear below yourself the sound of like the chink of chainmail as somebody begins to come into this room below you, and you hear a dunk as the hilt of a spear hits the ground down below, and
you're
voice
at the top
says-
of the stairs,
I'm
aren't
on the
you?
top of the stairs, yeah.
one voice says, "It looks clear," and the other one says, "All right, well, take a proper look." And then you see a Haven's Watch guard begin to come through the bottom part of the building. Yago, you have jumped up to the upper floor and have landed on these very, very creaky, not in the best of condition floorboards.
Phenomenal play. Eye contact with. What was that?
Phenomenal play with the cup, by the way.
First one steps through, you hear the chink of the chainmail as he kind of starts looking around the space. Hello? His voice kind of echoes. Hello? Hello?
How many of us hear it? Do I hear it?
You hear it. Oh, actually, no, top of the tower, probably not.
Yeah, okay.
And he turns back and says, yeah, alright. And the other guard begins to step through this gap in the wall as well, and they both kind of like look around the area.
Come here.
Cross my mind as well.
So, the second one who came in turns to the first and says, did he say why we had to clear this place? And the first one kind of shrugs and is like, no idea. Apparently scheduled for demolition or something. So, come on, let's have a poke around. And the two of them start to spread out on that ground floor.
Okay, yeah.
What's the ceiling like in this section? Is it like exposed rafters?
Yes.
Or is it okay? All
Directly above the broken floorboard on the second floor, yeah. It's the exposed rafters of what is a very, very sharply sloped roof up above.
Okay. I'm gonna try and climb up the wall and get like into these rafters.
Okay.
I have a climbing speed
Ooh!
of 30 feet.
What? So you seeing some of the craggy bits on the rock, kind of like feet and hands into the crags, you just like clamber your way up. And again, because of these buildings, these rooms have been kind of cordoned off at the top. You've got these kind of like, almost like loft rafter bits above them.
I'd like to traverse down those rafters further down, like adjacent, parallel to the corridor.
Okay.
Assuming that these guys will come upstairs, see how fucked the corridor is, and be like, oh, I'm not going down there.
Very good.
So if I can get further down above the side rooms.
Perfect. You can do that quite easily.
Cool.
Yeah, you start crawling along. There's, again, a few dusty old crates and barrels and other like burlap sacks, things that have been stored, little pile of books, things like that, but it's all really, really cobwebby and dusty up here. And you start crawling through, it starts to get into your nose a little bit. But yeah, you clamber along a little bit further so that you wouldn't be in eye shot if they come up the stairs.
Cool. And I just kind of poke my head over, look in the corner, and just...
You can see Yago there in the centre of the corridor now on some of these floorboards. Blink at the base of the spiral stairs, so you get nowhere to be seen.
I mean,
You can fly, can't you?
no, I've still got jump activated. It hasn't been a full minute yet. has it?
Yeah, no, it's still active.
I'm gonna
The other side.
I'm gonna turn and literally just launch myself towards
Okay.
Woodland because
Oh, to the bottom of the spiral stairs.
yeah.
Okay, so from that centre you offwards. Could you make a stealth check?
Under my breath, I'm going,
You do have.
So you jump off from these floorboards, and as you do so, there's a as one of the beams falls and just comes crashing to the ground just from where you've jumped from. The centre part has just fallen through, and floorboards come crashing down to below. You hear a shout from below and the sound of armour hitting stone as it sounds like one of the guards has jumped out of the way as this has happened.
It's an unsafe building, man. You can't go delving around these places.
And you land at the base of the stairs. There's a few seconds of like the dust clearing and the creaking kind of stopping, and you land at the base of the stairs with Blink just there like shit as this noise is just echoing around behind
Back up
you.
the stairs. Back up the stairs.
They're very creaky. They'll go from underneath you.
Yeah.
You could just go to the other side.
Yeah, I'll do that.
With your big
Yeah.
jumpies.
Yeah, I'll just see it, and before it runs out, just jump up.
Okay.
So the opposite.
You
which is what I
jump
should
up
have
there.
Fucking done anyway.
Land on the other side, so you're opposite Belzevere now up in the rafters.
Yeah.
You hear from below, "You alright?" And then the sound of footsteps running over and like one of the guards pulling the other one to his feet, and he's like, "Bloody hell! No, it's fine." And one of them like steps out of the way. He's like, "Oh, I've got a feeling we shouldn't be in here. Doesn't seem safe, does it?" And then the other one kind of goes, "Yeah, no, there can't be anyone hiding out in here. Come on, let's just watch the perimeter or something." And you hear the two of them begin to leave from downstairs.
I would like to exit the barrel at this point.
It actually did a good thing.
Yeah, Yeah, the roll was so bad, it was good.
Nice.
Oh, the whole place is falling down, boys.
you like, lid of the barrel comes up and Sigurd's eyes just pop over the top.
I'm going to be underneath the thing, just going.
Have you made your way all the way up to the
Yeah.
top? Okay.
Like, exit the barrel and poke my head out from the
You can just see Blink through this hatch, just trying to jump to reach it.
I was like, you're not even remotely close. Don't worry, I'm gonna have a poke around up here first and then I'll come down. Okay, I'm gonna have a poke around up here first and then come down.
Okay. Make a little perception check. Grab a little search.
I had to keep up against the pillar as well, just to.
No! That is... 2.
It's an awful lot of junk. Things that have been put to one side. You can see like there are like festival decorations and bunting and things that have, would be stashed away until such a time came that you need it. Some stuff you wouldn't have to regularly access. The most interesting things up here, there are 4 telescopes, which have been piled in a corner. However, they're extremely rusty and in very bad condition. They've each got like a wooden tripod kind of thing. It's made of wood and brass. And you can see from the floor down below, it looks like there would have been 3 divots on each of these cardinal points where these tripods would have like inserted into the ground to keep them steady. They're big telescopes, but they're not in good nick.
Okay, I'm gonna head over to one of the telescopes.
Okay.
And begin to mend it.
Ooh, okay.
Get rid of some of that rust and try and get it into some slightly better condition
Cast
that I
mending.
feel like I might be able to
Beat me to
move it without it breaking.
Okay. I'd say with a minute's cast of mending,
Nice.
as you start to focus on it, it's got a real nasty crack along the actual lens on the end, which you're able to mend. The rust, not so much, but it is just rust. It doesn't really affect how this thing works. The internal mirror as well is broken, which you managed to mend, but yeah, after a minute or so it's serviceable. It looks like it'll work. You can definitely use it to see things that are far away, which is what it's for.
Like after a short while, through the hatch come these legs. The stripers like, grab the telescope.
Can I reach?
Make
I'm like
acrobatics
hanging
check.
13?
Yes, you do. You reach up and just grab like the crossbar at the bottom of one of these tripods and just hang on to it. Your legs kind of dangling down. Could you make a strength check, Sigurd, if you're going to try and pull him up, which is I assume what's happening?
No.
I'm trying to pass it to him.
Oh, okay.
The assignment was in the
okay.
telescope to lift me up.
I see.
Strength check's good. That's a good strength check. It's
like
going to
the way
be
you
17 on the strength
17.
check. I'm just like, what?
Like it's not hanging from this.
No, I'm passing it down to
Let's go.
you. What are you doing? Drop down.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm just like going to lean down a little bit more
As you-
so that he can get it on the ground.
Yeah, with the strength check, you lower him to the ground and you kind of like pull this. It's heavy,
Well, I
this
need
thing.
to.
So you're going to need to do a strength check to see if you can manage to like actually hold this thing. Because you're holding one of the crossbars of a tripod in 2 hands now with a big heavy telescope at the top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm still holding the top
Yeah.
so that if it
4.
4.
Oh, God.
As you start to like let your grip go a little bit without fully relinquishing it, Blink just kind of starts to go like over to one
Whoa,
side, and you
go-
like hold it a little bit.
go and get one of the big people.
Okay.
I'll
Hold it up for a sec.
just hang out here. I don't think I can. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just like half out of the hatch, just like
Just
holding
hanging,
it.
holding this telescope.
Wait. No. They were guards. That's why it's me.
Like, right.
He's telling you now.
Pull it back up.
I'm going to grab onto it. At that point, that's where you should pull me up.
Are you going to try and pull him up using the telescope?
I mean, I guess I don't really know he's on there, but yeah, I will pretend to pull.
Okay, give me a strength
What
check.
in the fucking Wallace and Gromit is this bullshit? Oh my
I
god,
completely
man.
forgot about the guns.
That's even better. That's an 18 on this one.
If you're intending to pull Blink up using the telescope, you can successfully do so if that's what you're trying to do.
I was instructed to pull the telescope. I don't necessarily speak and know that he's on it or not until I've started pulling
It feels a little bit heavier than it did before, and then you pull it up the top and Blink's just like pull to the top of this hatch. Like your chest now on the ground with your legs still dangling down, but you're holding this telescope.
An episode of Mr. Bean, like.
So,
I don't know if they, I don't know if they're still there, but there were guards downstairs looking around.
right.
Would I have heard
I
that
heard-
they said that
I
they were
heard some
going to
kind of
demolish it?
commotion.
Yeah, you would have heard that. You were downstairs.
Saw it come out of the barrel.
They said that they were going to demolish it, and they said that they were just looking around to see if there was anyone here
Right.
or something.
When you look at me, I'm not there.
Where are the other two?
Hiding in the rafters.
Yeah, that's
Kind
happening
of
already.
scooch forward a little bit, see if I can see if these guards have left the building.
So
If I have a through line through the floor and into the
you just see the second one disappear out back onto the street. And you can hear muffled voices then as they sound like they're making their way around the building, kind of going, yeah, they would have knocked the cup again on the way out. Do they notice that the cup's making a squeaking noise? Okay. But yeah, you hear muffled voices then as they begin to make their way outside the building.
I think we are good. Okay. Alright. I'll kind of traverse to the spiral staircase side of this corridor on the rafters still.
Okay.
Or just like gently just lowering himself and just dropping.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
Yago knows we're up here.
So the two of you
Well, I suppose
drop to the ground again near the spiral staircase that leads to the tower.
Alright, we're going now.
May as well see what all this fuss is about.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Start with that.
So the two of you taking the stairs up to the top. Eventually, now crest the top of the stairs to see Blink's legs hanging out from this hatch above, which seems to go into this loft storage area.
What are you doing?
Beat me to it again.
I'm going to just climb myself up and then turn around and poke my face out.
Hi.
Why up there?
Once again, I'm like, right now I'm going to begin to lower
what's
the
it saying?
telescope.
Hey, what's it saying? What we got here?
We were looking for
You
presents
can
for
quite
you.
easily hold it. It is heavy, but you're like, ooh, shit, okay. And you pull it down.
That's the telescope.
It is a large...
holding on to it.
I'm assuming you've let go at this point.
I will throw you off the tower.
I'm then going to hop down through the hatch onto the ground.
You jump and kind of...
That's quite nice.
Right.
Do be careful. There were two guards who came in to inspect the building to make sure that it was clear of people.
Yeah, I know Blink just said.
They were mentioning
Mr. Big
about
Brain.
he wanted them to check it out.
Well,
He, no doubt, being Barras.
Of course, so,
Well-
but why would they want it clear?
I don't know
To
if
make
you
sure
did.
that no one was peeking in on the conversation.
No one was here, but what was here was that fucking crow.
There.
Right. I point at the space right there.
And it is no longer here.
It flew off.
You look around.
You are
see
certain.
what's at the back from it.
It was, yeah.
Make a perception check.
Perhaps we should not be standing in the open. For
Like, can I use the
everyone to see us
telescope
from a
to get
distance.
Oh, yeah, okay. You like pull it up and it's this thing is about 4 foot long.
Glass.
And it's about this thick. It's like,
It was
it's
looking.
like
It was
it's
looking
huge.
there somewhere. It was
And you kind of
transfixed
pull it
on
up and
something.
hold it with your arm and yeah, give me a perception check with
I'm
advantage.
trying to see if I can see the crow. Just
It's like it's okay, he's really far away. Oh wait.
I mean, to be honest, that first one was pretty. I thought the first one was great. I rolled a nat 20. So 21.
Okay. You start swinging it around. You notice a couple of birds, but you don't see a crow.
All right, I think.
Wait, Yago. It was looking at something. It was transfixed on something. I'm gonna kind of like stand where it was standing.
We are quite conspicuous on top of this tower, I hope you know. There's no cover.
All right, we'll make this quick then. He's looking in the exact direction that the crow
was looking.
And now I'm pointing the.
So these 4 points on the tower seem to go cardinal directions around, and this crow is looking south. And as you stand there, Sigurd, looking out over the city, the big thing that stands out to you as you look south is the big blighted circle of the shatter. You can make out like the other side of all the buildings and stuff that lead in that direction. You've got a great view of the city from here. These sloped and rooftops and spires which come up in all directions. The kind of grand Gothic walls which like separate out the different wards of the city. But yeah, this large, dark very, very dishevelled part of the city there, which is the Shatter, seems to be the thing that catches your eye looking south.
If this bird is already watching the towers and we cannot be out in the open for too long.
Just a quick thing. There's barrels up here.
Okay.
You can hide them.
Hide them.
You could also just hide up there and listen to the conversation.
That's true. And we can jump on it.
Do we know this is where they're going to meet? Well, I assume so, because there's nowhere to meet downstairs.
It's the top of the tower and the bird was here.
Okay.
I'm not going to fit in a barrel. No one like.
Yeah, you don't.
I think it might be a job of you two staying up here when the meeting happens and me and Yago being downstairs just in case something goes wrong.
Sounds like a job for me and you.
Yes. Yeah. It does. I was waiting for some kind of.
Catchy tag.
Yeah.
You have
but it
lots
didn't
of.
happen.
You're going to have a great evening.
Yeah. No, I'm sure I am.
Same barrel or separate barrels?
I am uncertain if we will be able to leave.
Separate barrels. Okay.
And are there any more of these up there?
There's a couple of those, yeah.
No, it just might be worth, these go for pretty
I'm
many.
still up there, by the way.
We can
We
always
purchase these.
Okay.
retrieve these items
Yeah,
once this meeting
exactly.
is done and we are no longer under scrutiny in
Right.
this tower.
Good
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Can we go?
So as two guards are patrolling the outside, it may be difficult to leave this building without being noticed, and let alone getting back inside.
So maybe we stay in.
We may have to just tough it out and spend the day here.
Oh, damn it. If we'd known, we could have got snacks.
We have
I got
rations.
snacks.
I'm so sick of rations, honestly. They're so dry.
Perhaps we should wait downstairs in one of the side rooms that are not at risk of collapsing. And then when the time comes closer, you and
Cool.
Sigurd, you find your way back up into that space. Hopefully the crow has not returned. And we will simply have to spend some time here, and then me and Yago can
What if
hide
we,
on our little rafters spot again.
What if we were to just stay up here and see when the crow returns?
You could do that too. If it would just be you and Sigurd for the next 12 hours.
That's fine by me. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah.
Sure thing.
You're going to take a level of exhaustion.
Perhaps you can pass the time through sleep. Sleep off that headache of yours.
That's a great idea.
Yes. My head does in fact hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does. Just
I'll be fine. Right, come on. Let me get back up there. Is there anything we can, like a ladder or something you can shove down from there?
Any. What is like the longest thing I can find that I paid it?
As you start to have a little look around the top, you can see that there is like a rope ladder which has been pulled up on one side, and it's got a little hook of rope on it. It looks like it was probably big pole, pull down the rope ladder, that sort of thing.
Is it already attached to anything?
Yeah, it's attached to like brackets on the wood.
Okay.
So you could throw it down and it's held in by two big brass rings. It's quite secure.
So good.
Right, throw it down.
It's kind of
Right.
so I say rope ladder. It's two pieces of rope that have been like knotted together, so you can kind of.
So we make our way back down.
You guys in a bit. I can fire off messages in a general direction if we need to communicate.
So Belzfir and Iago, you are planning to leave.
I'm going to go back downstairs into one of the upstairs rooms.
Okay, cool.
And just kind of wait there
Hang
for a
out.
while. Yeah, all these two are going to stake out, wait upstairs for the eventual conversation is going to take place.
Okay.
Whereas we will hide downstairs and.
Do I have
Very good.
I do. I have a free Dragante set.
Oh, nice! Brilliant. You can play a little bit of that.
Just out of curiosity, Taff.
Yes.
What is the common component that this room is made out of?
It's wood.
It's wood and stone.
It's all.
Okay. The floor is wood. The ceiling and the walls are stone.
Okay.
The ceiling is the dome. So there's very little space where you're up here because you're just within the confines of the dome. But the dome and the walls are made of stone, and the floor under your feet is floorboards.
Can we rest?
You can short rest. Up there if you wanted to. Absolutely.
Do we
Kill some time. Probably don't.
And then you two who are leaving, so you've headed downstairs to the, not leaving, but into one of those rooms.
Yeah.
So you find yourselves in what looks like a former office. There looks like there was a window that overlooked the street at some point. It's now boarded up, and there's just a little bit of the sunlight kind of coming through, catching some flecks of dust as they drift around in the room. There's the remnants of an old desk, which has been pushed into one corner and covered over with a dust sheet. In the other side, there is a bookshelf which has fallen over. It's now face down on the ground. But you can just see through some cracks of the floorboards down into the floor below. But it seems sturdier in here. It's kind of held aloft a little bit more by the pillars below. But you kind of hunker down in there for a little while.
I think first point of order is go to the window and see if I can crack one of those, just one of the boards, just slightly, just to be able to get some sort of look outside.
Okay, make a little strength check.
Oh Christ! 7.
Yeah, that's good enough. It wasn't going to be hard. You just pry one of the boards to the side, and the nails and the wood is quite damp, and you just kind of pull it out. You've now got one board's width to look down into the street.
Give us a bit of light, and also see if I can look up to see the state of the sky as well when it starts getting a bit darker.
So it is.
We start estimating.
It's a very overcast day, so you're guessing that it's going to feel dark pretty soon.
Okay.
Or sooner than it would. Anyway, it's still fairly early in the day.
Oh, yeah, quite a long time to wait, but
Yeah.
it's a stakeout, baby.
You do have a good few hours to wait now if there's anything you want to do or converse about or anything in the meantime.
You ever play Dragon Chess?
Yes.
Quick game?
I think we have time for a long game.
Maybe a couple.
Perhaps.
Have this like absolutely stunning emerald pieces Dragon Chess set. It's got like this kind of pasty green marble with like each of the blocks, each of the black squares are also emerald. So it's
Alright.
It's very on brand.
Of course. I actually carved some of the pieces out of
I was it Iago
Iago pieces.
originals.
Iago pieces, yeah, for sure. And if I ever need them, I can put them back. So, happy
I
days.
suppose so.
Are you still in the business of the old caravans?
Yes, it is still what we do, moving things from A to B.
You got a line from here to Furlough.
Yeah, it's one that goes through Kildrum.
Okay, I got quite a big package that I need to get from here down to Furlough College, actually.
I wish you had told me last night. I could have sent it down with Johan.
I didn't realise. I got to be honest. I didn't realise he was going to be going.
It was a last minute decision.
No, that's fair enough. I'm not sure. It's probably 2 caravans worth. Actually, it's just a lot of books.
Okay. Well, yes, that is going to be a larger job. We'll have to ensure that people, we're going to need a second wagon, but Johan will be back in 3 to 4 days.
That's fine. There's no.
And then, if perhaps once we are out of here, I can send a message to someone to have a second wagon brought up, or maybe we can simply rent one from here and then transport it as and when.
Oh, that'd be great. Glad our paths have crossed, because that was the only bit I was struggling with, to be honest, was how to get it back down. Thank you.
That is okay. What are friends for?
For sure.
Anyway, I will take your bishop.
Oh, son of a bitch! Look at this.
Make a contested intelligence check against each other.
Would my
Oh, fucking hell.
headache gone?
For that short rest, yes, your headache has
7.
subsided.
Not 14.
Iago wins the chess game. In the end.
Yeah,
So I got
Elsevier knows how to play, but he's not great.
So the two of you kill a good few hours now playing chess and otherwise having small talk. Is there anything else pressing you want to address before I skip forward or go?
no, that was the.
I think we just
That's all good. Just
pass the time. Yeah.
Cool.
probably a
A little kip at some point.
couple of moments of silence, like
Just both of the same. Just realize it's just like like an hour kip or something.
Yeah.
Just,
And for the next few hours, then Blink and Sigurd, as you are trapped together in this tiny, dusty, musky little storage space at the top of one of the tallest towers in the city. Is there anything you would like to have done in that time?
No, it's not my card.
Sigurd
It's not my card.
can teach you how to play a game. Heard of a game called Snap?
I know how to play Snap.
Explain the rules to me then.
You split a deck of cards.
Go on.
If you put down number number of suit, right?
If
If it's the same number, you go snap, and you'd pick up the cards, and you keep going. If it's the same suit, you go snap, and you keep going. It's the first one to no cards.
you do know how to play Snap.
Everyone knows how to play snap.
This is where I've learned how to play Snap. But does Sigurd know this?
Okay, right. Do them out then.
I'll just give you half the deck.
So you begin to engage in a game of Snap that lasts longer than it should. Because every time it's getting close to somebody losing, the other person snaps and the rest of the deck changes hands.
Eventually, I start digitating fake cards that would give me an advantageous outcome and keep putting those down. I don't know what.
Put it back down.
Put what back down?
The card you just picked up. Put it back down.
It's there. It's already down.
Put it back down.
As you're having this conversation, the two of you hear the fluttering of wings approaching the tower. Just pricks up your ears just a little bit with
Who's about to win?
yeah, just about with your passive perceptions. You both hear it at the same time, and there's a as something again perches. You can't see it, but you can again hear this kind of like
In Blink's head, he's going, I think I won that one.
just through the cracks of the floorboards down below. You can see now this crow has landed at the top of the tower and is hopping its way along the ground. The sun is beginning to come down at this point. You've been up here for a few hours, and long shadows.
Please tell me that the telescope back up with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have taken the telescope.
Long shadows are beginning to form now from the pillars of this that are holding the kind of awning of the tower aloft. And you see this little crow just begin to hop along, and it kind of like cocks its head to one side. It ruffles its feathers a little and takes another few hops into the center of the room. You kind of sit there and hold your breath. Could you both make a stealth check for me?
17?
Great 10.
Is that happening? You're barely rumbling.
Yeah, my belly rumbles.
Go on in. Let's go with that. That's exactly what happens. So after you haven't really eaten since breakfast, and they begin to roll on, and there's just a like noise from Sigurd's stomach. You're both kind of sitting there, and you see the crow just kind of like cock its head up to one side, takes a couple of hops towards the hatch, and like again cocks its head up and looks to one side, and hops forward again. As it does so, you watch as from behind it, you're not entirely sure if your eyes are deceiving you, but you can see the dark shadow of one of these pillars along the ground, along the stone floor at the top of the tower.
Yeah.
From that darkness, you have no idea where it came from, but you can just make out, through the cracks in the floorboard, the silhouette of a cat that just seems to emerge from this shadow and just begin to creep up on the crow. And the crow is fixated on the hatch, and it doesn't notice this cat is coming up behind it. And then there is a sudden and a pounce, and this ruffle of wings and feathers as the crow squawks and launches itself off from the ground and begins batting this way and that. You can hear the desperate sounds of this cat kind of going for the crow. There's a loud hiss, the crow squawks again, you can hear the talons of the crow kind of to one side, and then again the crow takes off and disappears off into the night.
Ooh.
This silhouette of this cat begins to just pace around the room a little bit, and it looks out over the city, and it kind of stops and stretches a leg and sort of like licks itself a little bit, and then disappears back into the shadow of this column. And then there's complete silence.
In telepathically, with message. Did you just hear?
The crow and the cat.
Yeah. I'm gonna head over to the hatch and just peek.
Poke your head over. Now with a much clearer view of the room, you can see this dark shadow of one of these pillars spreads across the room. You can see it's starting to get kind of red in the sky now where the sun is coming down. Make a little perception check.
Gaming. 17.
17. There's no sign of this cat. And not only is there no sign of this cat, but there is no sign of anywhere that it could have gone, unless it went down the stairs.
Are they, is there anything? Are they like feathers?
Yes, there are some feathers of the crow that have been left on the ground, and it's quite clear looking at the scene now that the crow seemed to have taken a bit of a scratch. There are some feathers on the ground, and there's clear signs that there was a struggle.
I'm gonna drop down.
Yeah, fuck it. Okay. You like to the edge of the hatch and then down to the ground. You're now stood in the tower. Again, you can see the sun setting over the city, which is a rather gorgeous sight. The skyline, and you can just see it falling over the edge of the black granite wall towards the south.
I'm just gonna look at the pillar.
Head over to it, and it's casting a dark shadow across the ground.
Any cats?
You can see the feathers on the ground from where the crow was. No sign of the crow. And there's this shadow on the ground from the pillar, but there is no sign of a cat.
I reach into my pouch and pull out some jerky and leave it on the ground.
Place it down.
And take a couple steps back.
Back off a little bit. And you wait. And you wait, but there's no sign of a cat.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. No.
And head back up to the jerky, pick it up, eat it.
Very good.
Not the floor jerky.
Bit of floor jerky.
5-minute rule. And then I head back to the hatch and just like
I'll drop the ladder back down.
climb back up,
Okay.
pull it up after me. He's like, no cat. But we should wait.
I agree.
Let's just pretend nothing happened and keep waiting. And I guess we go back to waiting.
Your turn.
Okay, anything else anybody wants to do in the next few hours as you wait? You're just continuing to stake this place out. Anything else?
Just have a quick rummage through the attic. I know that we already have. I just want to see if there is anything useful to me.
You find, as you're looking through, there's a small lockbox which seems to contain a couple of gems.
Ooh.
It's the most interesting thing you find. There's not many, just a small wooden box that seems to have 4 or 5 small gemstones in it.
Oh, I'll pocket them.
Yeah.
Chuck him in my
Take
bag.
them out of the box and pop them in.
Nice.
Just scribble in my notebook.
Okay. It starts to sort of roll into boredom, and the mundanity of sitting around in this dank, abandoned building for a little while begins to set in. But it begins to get misty as the night begins to draw on now, and as the sun sets and the red hues of the sunset begin to fade away into this grey fog. Night begins to set in. And another hour and another rolls by. And eventually the two of you who are not in the tower, so Belsphere and Iago, you hear the sound of footsteps approaching the building. And you're both kind of like immediately snapped out of this stupor that you were in. As you hear, again, it's the clinking sound of chainmail approaching. And from the sound of it, it's probably a few Haven's Reach guard who are approaching. You can hear a couple of murmured voices, nothing that you can really make out, but then the sound of 2 people entering the building below you. And voices kind of coming through, and you just managed to pick up what they're saying. One says, "Watch your step, the big part of the ceiling collapsed earlier on." And there's a kind of like the sound of a spear kind of hitting some of the rubble as he kind of points it out. And the squeaking again, yeah, I suppose. Is that still active? It lasts
Yeah, I mean, it lasts.
day?
They last until I do a new one.
Yeah. So, it sounds like a few people are now making their way into the building there.
I'm supposed to get back on top.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you can hear a few murmured voices on the outside. It sounds like a few other guards are positioning themselves on the outside of the building.
Upon kind of hearing the activity of the commotion again, I think we try and get back on top of like the Raptors area.
So
Just
make
to not
stealth
be in
check.
a directly in a room. Dirty 20. 5.
Seems to be preoccupied at the moment, but okay. The two of you together, kind of like hoisting up onto the top, and you manage to clamber up there. Nothing seems to notice. Clamber up to the
Stood
top.
next to each other on the same side of the room, just like
It's like lying down, watching over the edge. Another hour or so passes, and these guards seem to have moved into position now along this area and seem to have secured the building. And from the sounds of some of the voices outside, there's probably a few guards securing the streets surrounding it as well.
I'm not being subtle about this.
No, that's true.
And you hear a voice from the outside. It says, "How are we looking?" Familiar voice that you recognise as that of Boreas. And the guard says, "Clear, sir!" You hear the kind of scraping of a boot as somebody steps into the area downstairs. Okay. And you just hear him kind of make his way along the ground floor and towards the steps. He ascends the steps on the one side, and two guards accompany him, one on either side, and they seem to position themselves on either side of the upstairs now, like one on either side of the entryways. And you now, are you watching or are you just listening?
Just listening.
Yeah?
Not risking poking head
No,
over
we'll
the
just listen.
You hear footsteps approach along the creaking floorboards, and just a pause and a that won't do. And then just a kind of, you hear just like a rustling sound, and then quiet, and then footsteps gently on the other side over by the spiral staircase. And then there's the creak of the step as it sounds like he's beginning to ascend
Would
to the
we?
top of the tower.
Would we hear the spiral staircase?
At the point where he reaches about the halfway point, you can hear creaking coming from the steps, yes.
Sounds good.
At this point now, it is very dark. If you're looking at
Don't
all,
make him say it.
I don't have it.
Neither do I.
I know you've both got dark vision, but basically what you can see is just it's very, very dim up here, and there is the kind of lights of the city below. Everything is cast in shadow. You haven't heard anything else in the time that you've been up here.
Okay.
But there's a few moments pass, and you can hear the creaking of the stairs getting closer and closer. And as it does, you now hear voices. Mumbled and muffled voices at first, but there are distinctly two. And as they begin to draw closer and closer to the top of the steps, one of the voices you pick out as being that of Boreas. The other voice is a voice that you don't recognise.
We definitely only heard one person go up the steps.
You
didn't we?
did, yes. Yes, you can hear the distinct sound now of two voices making their way up the steps. One of them sounds like Boreas, the other one you don't recognise. But the voices begin to draw closer. Now, are you trying to look, or are you just trying to listen?
I'm listening.
I will, for a minute, be listening, but as soon as he goes past the threshold of the thing, I'm going to just peek.
So you're not inside a barrel, but you're kind of trying to look just through the hatch. Okay. So
Just poke my head, just kind of like poke my head down.
you hear Boreas' voice speak out. I thought it an impossible task. You know the dangers in there full well. I never expected them to return. This second voice speaks out now. This cold, quiet, silken voice. In your pride, you led them too close, Boreas. This was supposed to be a mutual agreement. We agreed to aid you, to help you, to keep your soft hands clean, but if you are playing with fire, that puts us in danger. The voices pass below you, Sigurd, and now as you do attempt to kind of peek over the edge, could you give me a stealth check? I'd say take it with advantage because you're already hiding.
Anyone who's got advantage, inspiration, please remember.
Does
Baby!
There's heroic inspiration.
Won't need it.
Yeah,
That's the mega
that is
giga
inspiration.
Won't need it. Won't need it. It's a 19 on the
They did a
stealth.
song, didn't they?
No, I know.
You just
was an
keep
18 or
your
19.
eyes over the top, and you hear, you see, even though you're looking, you see Bariah standing in the center of the room, his arms crossed, looking out over the city, and you don't see anyone else. Bryce kind of sighs. They are a band of mercenaries, nothing more. Obstinate, yes, but you are overestimating their threat. They'll move on soon enough. When the coin is dry, they'll be far from Haven's reach. From the shadows steps forth a shimmer of heat haze that then materializes into a dark form. It's a figure that is dressed in kind of dark black leathers, has a kind of shortcut, sort of messy crop of dark hair atop. It looks to be a female, kind of sharp featured, slightly pointed ears, given away this is probably a half-elf. And she keeps to the shadows, and you don't quite see her face properly, but again she speaks. And you think that we are not aware that they have the ear of the Senator? And Barias kind of stops and looks over his shoulder and doesn't say anything. And this figure continues to speak. Your plan was to incite fear, Barias, but it is slipping. Barias turns and folds his arms and now steps facing this figure. I control the fear. The people love fear, if it's given to them in controlled doses. A little chaos and they come begging for someone to take charge. That's me, Erlin. That's my power. This figure that has now been identified as Erlin steps forward with a soft hiss of impatience. She says, our agreement was not for this kind of recklessness. We have done as you asked thus far, but these mercenaries, as you call them... Bryce kind of turns and throws up his hands in exasperation and says, oh, then deal with them. Send some of your little pets, or do it the old-fashioned way, I don't know. Just do what you're supposed to do. The stranger, Erlin, then rounds on Barias with a sudden flash of rage crossing her eyes. We did not agree to clean up your mistakes. Barias leans forward and his voice drops into this harsh whisper. He says, mistakes? You think I don't know what I'm doing? If you are that concerned, then deal with them. If you don't have the stomach for it, then perhaps this arrangement has reached its end. Erlin chuckles. This kind of low, almost eerie laugh, but their voice remains smooth. Oh, we have the stomach for many things. But let us be clear. We know where blind ambition can lead. If this becomes more dangerous for us, then we will cut you loose, Judicia, without a second thought. Bryce leans back, and there's a moment where they kind of eye each other. You forget. You need me as much as I need you. Now, don't worry yourself so much. He pats this figure on the shoulder and turns around. Hope in the Senate is wavering quickly, and the more unstable the situation becomes, the stronger my platform for order. Erlin kind of leans back into the shadow. We do not work well when cornered, Barias. Make sure that that corner does not come closer. For your sake.
our arrangement stands. But do not assume we are yours to command. Remember, and she begins to round around him, there are things that even your political gains cannot control. And as she rounds behind him, she flickers and shimmers back into heat haze and is gone. He kind of stands, like, looking at the spot where she just was, kind of
Look what? Immediately kind of back up now that I know it's just in there.
shrugs his shoulders a little bit and straightens his jacket. Watch me. And makes his way back to the stairs, begins to descend.
Okay.
You hear the creaking of the stairs. And he disappears from your earshot. The two of you who are in the office downstairs, you can hear the stairs creaking as he begins to descend again. Once again, makes his way down. Again, there's footsteps, and then silence, and then footsteps on the other side. One of the guards steps forward and says, all okay? I says, yes, sorted, dead end, unfortunately. Anyway, come on. And they begin to descend the stairs, and the two guards follow him down. And the guard present seems to follow him out of the building, back onto the street on the outside. And you wait, and over the next 15-20 minutes or so, you hear the sound of the guards leaving, eventually. You kind of wait in this still silence. You can feel the tension as your shoulders are kind of seized up from how close you were. But eventually there is silence once more in the building.
I mean, we wouldn't know anything about this.
No, you haven't heard any of that.
I jump down rather than roll the ladders so that we don't
Okay.
leave any trace. Right, Blaine, let's go meet shall we there too and tell them what the fuck we just saw.
You drop back down. You're fairly certain the coast is clear at this point after how long it's been.
I pick up a couple of feathers.
You grab a few crow feathers and just stick them in your bag.
We can head down.
Or your barrel, I should say.
Nice and slow.
Because we'd probably be lowering ourselves down on this
Yeah,
point.
just hearing a second set of footsteps being like, oh, okay, that might be them.
Okay.
Oh my god, we're just still waiting quietly to actually get a beat on them.
As soon as we get down, I just kind of like fire off a message in a general direction until I get one of them to go, hey, come out by the stairs.
Alright, yeah, so are we. Hello.
Oh, at the bottom of the stairs?
Hi.
Oh my god. Right.
Come on. Success.
You could say that.
I think you guys had best follow us upstairs.
Oh, back up the stairs.
Oh, we're going
Yeah.
back up. Alright.
Back to the tower?
Back to the tower.
Okay.
And as
Should we
soon as you get to the top.
Should we not leave the building? No.
No. It's safe to talk up here, I think. And either way, I need to show you something. So, Blink and I were having a nice game of snap when
Go fish.
no fish, and the crow came back.
Okay.
And we thought we were about to get rumbled until suddenly I point to the pillar. Anything different about the shadow then?
It's no longer present, as there is no sunset
Oh,
to have caused it. The whole room is now in darkness instead. Again, very, very cloudy nights. There are not really any stars, not really any moonlight. It's very dark. So there's no longer a solid shadow there.
I appreciate you probably can't see it that well, but there is a shadow being cast by that pillar. You see the pillar in the dark?
I cannot see anything.
It is
It
really
is
dark.
extremely dark.
Oh, okay. No! As soon as you know, I got a little breeze of wind just comes past and just extinguishes the flame as soon as it. Okay,
It's alright, we don't need to see to talk.
Idea. Right, there's a pillar over there, and the crow was bouncing about, and this cat just appeared out of nowhere and scrapped the crow. And the crow flies off, and I popped down to see if I could lure this cat out, and
Okay.
nothing. It seemed to emerge from a shadow at the base of the pillar. And then I thought nothing of it. It's very weird, but nothing I can do now, so I went back upstairs. We were hiding again. And then Bryce comes. I'm sure you figured that better.
Yeah, we overheard his arrival.
And he's talking to somebody. I peek out through the hatch. There's no one there.
Okay.
Well, he didn't come in with someone, did he?
He was on his own as he ascended.
He was talking to someone while he was ascending the stairs. Like at the top of the stairs, he was speaking to somebody, and he comes in. He's still speaking to nobody, and he's still like, kind of like walk out, just kind of like wave, like here, I'm stood now.
Okay, sure.
Um,
I still cannot see you.
No, I was about to say, it's just like, I can imagine it, but...
And this figure kind of forms out of nothing, like some shadowy figure, and it spoke to him. They spoke about us, basically. They spoke about how we got close to something in the shatter. And we're obviously meddling in some plans because Barias has told whatever it is to deal with us.
Oh, for goodness sake, he can't even deal us. He can't even deal us the cash he owes us.
He called it Erlin.
He called it
Erlin.
what? Erlin. That's quite a pretty name, though, I've got to be honest.
It's a nice name.
It's a very nice name.
They talked about how they need each other. Well, she's trying to cut Barias loose because we are not its mess to clean up.
Oh, what have we done? I'm so confused now.
I don't know. I think we're sniffing around something that it and whoever it works with or for doesn't want us snooping around it.
So
We are not going to get paid anytime
No,
soon.
exactly, that's what I was thinking as well.
Are we going to have someone trying to take our lives now?
So we've got targets on our backs
Oh.
for doing the right thing.
This
Great.
thing, this Erlin creature, person, whatever it is, knows we're in with the Senator. So we can't
No,
stay.
it's the crow. There's something to do with the crow then.
Something to
'cause-
do with the crow, I think.
Yeah.
We can't stay at the Polish Goblet anymore.
Well, so what was the deal with the cats then?
I don't know.
So there was no court of cats as far as I'm aware.
I can't say for sure, but it seemed to emerge from the same place that Erlin emerged from.
But surely the crow's with Erlin though, so why did the cat
The
go
crow
in?
might not be bad.
The crow might not be bad, the crow might be bad, but there is infighting within this
I think the
faction.
crow, personally I think the crow's bad because it's clearly gone back and said
Yeah.
that this bunch of geezers are working with the Senator.
I don't know for sure. I'm not sure anymore.
The
Crow might not be bad. The cat might not be bad.
But then again, I was about to say, what if we were looking for the wrong thing? What if we've been keeping an eye on this crow and it's actually the cat that's
I think
following us around?
Isn't he not here if he was able to do his magic sightseeing? Maybe the cat is just a remnant enchantment made to keep this area clear of birds.
Potentially. But I don't. I think
Just to stop the birds from shooting on the telescopes.
Oh,
that's not a bad idea.
It's a thought, but it
Very
seems
smart.
that makes a lot of sense.
Sorry, Taff. Well, can I have retroactively in the time we were chilling out up in the hatch, up in the loft? Can I have had a look at those goggles that I found?
Yes, you could have during the short rest if you wanted to.
Yes, please.
They are Eyes of the Eagle,
Eyes of the Eagle.
very nice.
which are an uncommon item. While you're wearing them, basically gives you advantage on perception checks of a line of sight.
If we are going off the prevailing series that it is the Court of Crows who are getting involved, they are a discordant bunch. There might be infighting amongst them, vying for power even on whatever they are doing here. They do not want one party knowing what the other is up to.
No, that's
We
true.
have shared the information that we are cozy with the Senator, but when it comes to a secret meeting, they wanted it secret.
I'm slightly concerned though that we got targets on our back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, and also,
That's not. I didn't come into the city with a target on my back. No.
yeah. I think the first things first, we should meet back up with the Senator as soon as we can.
Yes, but we can't stay at the Polish Goblet.
No, we cannot. Or would it be more suspicious if we did not?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe we share rooms and take watches, at least for the immediate, few days.
Good call.
Thing is, if they've been given the go-ahead now to deal with us, so to speak, do you reckon they'll act fast?
I think so.
I'm sure.
Well, it seemed kind of begrudgingly. They didn't really want to deal with us, but also
Go for
he
yourself.
said something about get some of your pets. So
More quicklings.
I think so.
Or something else. But you mentioned that this figure did not seem like it was her job to deal with. And Baraya seems convinced that we will leave once the money has dried up.
That's true, yes.
So maybe he will hasten to pay us.
Maybe.
Ensures that we are out of the city.
Check my workshop first thing in the morning.
Do we think that this lady from the shadows is something to do with Faye?
Of course.
Yeah, is that what we're going
Seems to
with?
point in that direction.
Well, if she was responsible for summoning the pets that rose the speech, then it stands to
There's no
reason.
guarantee.
So the pets are these shape things.
Well,
Quicklings or
Essentially.
whatever else.
Fey
they could
beings of
summon.
yeah. If this Erling character can summon those, what else can it summon?
Because I don't fancy our chances up against Fey creatures. I'm not gonna lie. So we can't suddenly we can't trust anyone.
But someone we can trust, and that is the Senator.
True.
But we also know, just putting it out there, we also know that someone is going around wearing the faces of other people. So what's to say that our next meeting with the Senator is even with the Senator herself? Do you get what I'm saying?
I suppose, but
We need some sort of common ground where we can check who is who, because they could be wearing our faces right now, causing a havoc, causing a mischief.
Perhaps, yes.
right. Let's head back to Polish Goblet.
Are there any guards outside?
From up here on the tower, you can't tell. Unless you want to peek over the edge.
Yeah, I'll peek over there.
Yeah, you kind of creep up to the edge of the tower and start to look over. Down to the street below, it looks quiet. You can't see any torchlight or anything like that. What light you can see is coming from the more active buildings further into the ward. So you don't think so, from what you can tell?
And lastly, where the crow was looking off to earlier on into the shatter,
Yeah.
anything about the shatter that's unusual at this time of night?
It's very dark, but it is always very dark. There are no lights there, as you would see from other places in the city, but nothing that strikes your eye as being particularly unusual, no.
There's a little
Well, we
guy.
could head back to
guy.
the Polish Goblet, or we can try and secure a meeting with the Senator now. So that may be more suspicious.
Yeah, and they'll be keeping an eye on us. Sorry.
Let's head back to Polish Goblet. And well, Izmir's expecting us to be there, right? So let's.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course, Izmir.
We head back. We fill in Izmir. We have an ale, so it looks normal.
Yeah, and
And
then
then
we try to meet with the Senator tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's asked us to go and look. There's every chance that she'll just be there because, like I said, it's a popular watering hole for the well-to-do society, and
Potentially, yes. It might be a little bit late for her to be there now.
perhaps.
It is, if the meeting took place at their agreed upon time, past midnight.
Gotcha.
That's true.
It will take us an hour at least to get back to the trade ward, so...
Just take a slow stroll, get a
As much
sausage
as-
on a stick, and
As I'm sure she is a party animal, I don't think staying alone in the Polish Goblet until the early hours of the morning is quite her style.
No, true.
she gives me the impression she's a party animal in the sense that she drinks on her own.
Yeah, definitely.
But she could do that in the safety and comfort of her own home.
That's also true.
Exactly. And why not?
Let's head.
Yeah.
We get home. It's been a
Exit.
long, tiring day of sitting around and waiting.
Okay. As you begin to descend the tower. That's where we'll begin.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
boy!
We're about to meet back at the ball. We can't go any further.
Exactly.
Espionage.